Hello and welcome to Insights. I am Elizabeth Omori. My super co-presenter Nnamdi Odipo is on an assignment. Nigeria has a total agricultural area of 70.8 million hectares of land, which 34 million hectares are arable land, 6.5 million hectares are used for permanent crops, and 30.3 million hectares are meadows and pastures. In this sector, we will look at women in agric because they play a vital role in farming. It is estimated that women smallholder farmers constitute 37% of the labor force, and they're confronted with myriads of challenges. Access to capital, insecurity, land ownership are just a few issues they face tilling the ground for food. Today, we will analyze the challenges of women in farming and prefer solutions to them. Also, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals adopted by all United Nations members in 2015 created 17 World Sustainable Development Goals. They were created with the aim to foster peace and prosperity for people and the planet. The SDGs highlight the connections between the environmental, social and economic aspects of sustainable development, and sustainability is at the center of the SDGs. What roles would civil society organizations be playing to meet these goals before the deadline? Also on our plate today. So, welcome to Insights.
I'm fascinated with the discourse on national monuments and assets and how much is being done to preserve and
look into the language issue. We have turned English to become like a pride value in our own cultural values.
It's not cash transfer. It's not a COVID-19.
Invasion 1897 was a deliberate calculation.
You know, many of these people coming to the urban areas now.
These and applications, there are terms and conditions that
of course it is the union of two people, a man and a woman coming together.
My name is Nnamdi Odipo.
And I'm Elizabeth Omori. Women in farming face unique challenges and play a vital role in agricultural production and rural development. They account for a significant proportion of the workforce. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, women make up 50% of the agricultural labor force in sub-Saharan Africa, 60% of the labor force in farming and rural activities, as well as 80% of food producers in Africa. Despite their significant contributions, women in agriculture face several challenges. On Insight today, we will assess the role of women in ensuring food security, challenges and prospects to make the sector more viable. My guest, Aishat Aminu Senshi, a farmer and advocate of women in agriculture, who joins us via Zoom, will speak to us. Thank you so much for joining us on Insight today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's nice to know that you are a farmer and also carrying other women along. So let's begin with your drive. What exactly is your drive?
As we all know, women are about the half of the population of the world. And even with such an acute understanding and knowledge, the end reality prevails in society where we live. Women are often not given much role to play. So as an advocate, I feel if women have the hectares, if women go into that farm, we are dedicated, and it will create empowerment for women. It will enable them to have financial autonomy and reduce reliance on financial dependency on men and other family members. So that is basically what put me to establish an NGO, Hanan Community Development Empowerment Foundation, and to support women at grassroots level to go back to the field and to empower them with means of livelihood. So this is critical for us, as we realize in most of our places, especially in the northern part of the country, women are not given the opportunity to own landed properties. It is only the privileged ones, that are the working class, that are interested in agriculture, that eventually own lands. We try to do some advocacy efforts to the community leaders, get some lands, and also the youth to support us in fencing where necessary, especially where irrigation farming is coming up. And then we support with farm inputs. And then to show example, you have to lead by example. So I grew up as a child, always going to the farm. I know at some point, I sponsored my education, especially when I was in the university. I have to come back to the village, secure a small land. After I harvest, I sell, and I use the money to pay for my school fees. So having graduated, I feel there are people like me, people from the very poor background, that may want to also leverage on such opportunities to go back to school. So I delve into supporting the women specifically to see how they go back to the farms to support themselves, the means of livelihood, to support their female children to go back to school to so that they can be adequately empowered.
Now, oftentimes limited access to land, credit inputs, training, and, access to technology are some of the issues women in farming face. But I want to believe you actually faced some challenges, or still facing some challenges as a farmer. How have you been able to surmount these challenges?
These challenges are enormous, and they are still there. We are still yet to surmount most of the challenges we are facing here. We need the hectares, and when in all of the government interventions coming to the grassroots farmers, it is only channeled to the main folk. Women are not given the opportunity to own these government-owned hectares. And where we even have our own farmlands, when government policies and support get towards supporting the agriculture, women, the agricultural sector is also tilted to the male. Recently, there's a program for women in agriculture, but again, it's rested in the state capitals, whereby the key players were only able to gather family members to access such facilities. So I can tell you that it is still very, very difficult, apart from our traditional leaders that do support us with farmlands. We are still struggling sometimes. We have to mobilize funds ourselves through cooperatives to be able to utilize our farms. Most of the things, again, are coming from the government supported programs, like the trainings, like the farm input, fertilizer, everything. We vote, we do everything, but not everyone is aligned to like a particular ward office. So such kind of supports, when they are coming, they are geared toward the ward office, and only few women are identified to get onto those supports. So some of the strategies we're trying to, we employ now to see that we mitigate those challenges is continued advocacy to let government know that women, if given the lands and if given the necessary support, we can do better. Because we are dedicated, and we know we have children to cater for, we have ourselves to cater for, and we need this support to be able to move forward. So those are some of the areas. It's more of advocacies, and then again contributions, and then we seek support from most of our political office holders, though not much has yet come in, but I can tell you that those challenges still exist. I'm happy with the recent initiative of our First Lady about the Renew Hope initiative and the backyard garden. This is something we have been doing for a very long time. Sometimes, using the technology, few of us that are privileged to go to school, we go through these technologies, YouTube, Twitter, and we identify so many innovative ways of farming, the sack farming, the container farming, the tires and filling farming, and we come back, we train our local women, we give them all it takes, and then we procure improved seedlings for them. We procure all the necessary things and we give them. And when they farm, we uptake and link them. We try to link them to markets so that they will sell at a very good price. Otherwise, they end up going to local markets to sell this thing. And again, it may not pay off considering that things are very, very expensive. A liter of a herbicide now ranges between 5,000 to 6,000, up to 10,000. Then if you are talking about irrigation farming, dry season, you have to fuel your generator almost every time. Recently, solar power generators were distributed for farmers, but I can tell you that even as an ESCO, not even one of my members was able to have access to that solar powered generator for women to at least have a little succor in terms of buying petrol.
Oftentimes some of these challenges are actually gender-based, which we cannot shy away from. But really, many a times, most of these women actually clamor, and then having access to credit facilities is still a big challenge for them. But for those you advocate for, how have you been able to get them funds to drive what they do?
We go through SMIDAN. I can say that is so far the only organization we've contacted. And then we try to align ourselves with the Ministry of Agriculture in my state here for them to see the good work we are doing. And then a lot of sister organizations that are working on agriculture. So sometimes, like the associations of particular commodities, for example, Rice Farmers Association, we have good collaboration with them sometimes, but it's about getting improved seeds, but we pay, of course. But getting credit facilities, honestly, is a bit very, very difficult for us, as it entails a lot of processes and procedures before you can get access to such a facility. We have registered as cooperatives. I know it's one of the prerequisites. And then we have an account. We have the farms. Some of us have the farms. Some of us, we even have to get farms for them during dry season so that they can utilize it. And when it is wet season, they release the farm for the male, the owners of the farm. So it's still very, very difficult, especially in this northern part of the country. Very, very difficult. It's as though the males still do not believe that women should be in agriculture or should be in the farm. But we still strive, and we continue to push to request for those kind of support. Recently, I was with the Association of Non-Microfinance Banks, and I tried to see how we can collaborate so that they come and see what we are doing. I also visited NASFAN, National Association of Share Products, and also some key government agencies. But we have not started receiving such support. But through sister foundations, we are getting the support in terms of trainings for value-added chain on how to process some of the products that we cultivate. Because sometimes if you harvest, again, you don't have a speedy market. Most of the things spoil, so we receive trainings on how to process this farm produce that we have. And then we take it to the next level for marketing to our off-takers.
From your explanation, I understand there's a challenge accessing funds, but are financial institutions not helping out, or are there conditions too stiff or not flexible enough for these women to access funds?
The conditions are too stiff and not flexible at all for these women. Number one, if you are asked to, like, okay, form cooperatives, we have the cooperatives, open an account for every member, you open an account for every member. Then the next thing, write a business proposal. In some institutions, they will request for that. Then you see where you have a pool of like 10, 20 women doing separate things, asking for like a business proposal, since it is not an individual thing. Sometimes it's also, it draws us back, because if I am farming soybeans, she is doing guinea corn, another one is doing maize, and then we are requested like to write a unilateral one single business plan. It becomes so difficult. So the capacity of what exactly this institution wants from us is also a gap for us, because we need to know what exactly they require from us before we access this facility. We also are often confronted with the fear of the high interest rates. We also want to know that if we are going to access this facility, at which percentage, because we are afraid again of also approaching these banks. We have, but in some, whereby you are asked to pay 2-digit interest rate, maybe if whatever you are accessing, you have to pay 21% interest. Is too huge for us. So we're looking for facilities that will come with the minimum interest rate, or at least interest-free credit for us, and also a flexible way of making this payment. For example, we all know there is nothing you plant that you harvest in less than 3 months. Facilities that will give us like 3-month moratorium for us to harvest, and then we start paying, is what we are looking for. We would not want to access facilities that will have high interest rates. We also like demand for collaterals, which most of them, if you look at the form, is too difficult for an average village woman to agree to the terms, because it's too stiff.
Are there initiatives to be implemented to address these challenges confronting the women?
Yeah, I think one of the strategies is do not, any support coming to the women farmers should not be based on the list submitted, but should be on the woman that you see on the farm working. Because most of these supports, even if they come, they end up going to the list submitted by the players, leaving the real farmer on the farm field without any support. So to mitigate that, we have to identify not just do you have a farm? Okay, let us go stand. You take a picture of somebody just standing in the farm, and that qualifies him to access this facility. No, establish layers with the existing community structures to identify who are the real women in agriculture in this particular community. Where is the land? For how long has she been? And then you take her details, and then when you want to support, give her a surprise, come and meet her in the farm and support her. Or assemble them in, like cluster them per zone and support them. Not just collect lists, stay in the state capital. When the day comes, you invite those who you want to invite, and then you start calling the names and giving this support. It may not really reach the real farmers.
Finally, how have you been able to address the issue of storage of these produce?
Like the wet season farming, usually the harvest comes around October, November, and once our farm produce are well dried, we baggage them. There are some that might need the application of insecticides, and especially those ones that we are going to store for a very long time. And then there are those that all that it takes is about drying. So we store this farm produce in our stores, in our homes, when it is time to sell, we bring them out. We have an established shop in the market, the cooperative shop, whereby we store our produce that we don't intend to sell. And then for wet dry season farming, that again do not come with much problem, as most of the things we produce things that you can store without much stress, without requiring any application of any insecticide. And then again, the ones that are perishable, we're gradually receiving trainings on how to dry them and package them using best agricultural practice. And that we also do. But basically, we store our produce in our homes and also in some of the allocated stores that we have at cooperative level and at our foundation level.
Aishat Aminu Senshi, I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on Insight, and thank you for enlightening us. I think every woman out there should see farming as a side hustle. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.